are you being truthful with yourself? When you're not being truthful with yourself, you're pouring water into all these other buckets that don't need water in them. Right. What needs water in them is the buckets that naturally satisfy you and naturally bring you happiness. Through being able to stay truthful with yourself and exploring areas of interest, exploring areas that you want to go into, that will allow you over time to develop, in my opinion, habits and behaviors that will allow you to balance a more consistent life and live more happy while still pushing yourself at the same time.
If you stop lying to other people completely and just tell them straight up, I just don't really know what the hell I want to do. I don't really know what I'm good at. I don't know what my purpose and my passion is. I'm just trying to figure it out. How much easier is it going to be for you to just taste things and let them go freely? Yeah. It's going to be way easier. You're not going to lock yourself into a career path, lock yourself into a major, lock yourself into some stupid 9-to-5 job that you fucking hate and then resent your entire life if you were to just tell the fucking truth.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 61 of the Content. I'm your host, Cal, along with my other boy, Mr. Jason Scalora. So yes, guys, it has been a minute since we've been together in the little room, aka our podcast room. But how you doing, broski?
I'm big chilling.
Big chilling.
It's funny because we're talking to each other, giving them a little background on how each of us have been doing.
Yeah.
As if we haven't been spending time with each other all the time.
Fuck. But yeah, how you doing, man?
Big chilling.
Big chilling.
Life is good.
Life is good.
It's actually funny because this is what we're just about to talk about in the clip. Actually, let's play the clip right now.
Okay. Give some context.
Cool. This is a clip that I posted from Jordan Peterson talking to Joe Rogan, episode 1080, if any of you are interested. And this is essentially what Jordan Peterson says is pretty much some of the best advice he can give to anybody that's in their 20s.
One of the things I recommend to young people, especially true for people in their 20s, is that you should push yourself beyond your limits of tolerance in your 20s to find out where it is. How much can you work? How disciplined can you become? Can you work 12 hours a day? Can you work 8 hours a day? Can you work 3 hours a day? Flat out. Where's your limit? And how much work can you do and how much socialization? You should find out. Push yourself past and then back off to that point where it's optimally sustainable.
The emphasis that I get from that video is taking it to the max and then pulling it back. Instead of trying to inch your way forward, how much can I work? Let's start at an hour a day, 2, and then we'll go to 2, and then we'll go to 2:15 or whatever. Going from 1 hour to 8. Going from 8 to 16. Can you work literally all day? Is that your genetics, your DNA, the way you were raised? Does that feel right to you? Mm-hmm. Find where that is. But the fastest way to do that is to take it to the max and then pull back. Because it's easier to feel when something's too much. It's faster to feel when something's too much and then to pull back than it is to say, okay, I can put more. Oh, wait, I can put more.
How do you know what the extreme is, though?
You'll just feel it.
You'll just feel it.
What extreme is different for everybody. Mm-hmm. For somebody like me, and this is a blessing and a curse. Some people, I say this and people are going to be like, yeah, sure, whatever. For real, it's not I'm not trying to say this to toot my own horn, but I'm the type of person that can literally work flat out pretty much all day, every day. Yeah. No days off. Not really. It's more so just it's a trait called conscientiousness, and it's a willingness to be disciplined and work hard and just put out a significant more number of hours in whatever it is that you're doing. And that's just how I am. But you got to figure out where your DNA lies. What is the maximum amount of hours you can work? That's going to be comfortable for you to balance your social life, your work life, your career, your finances, your spirituality. How much time you're going to put into each of these buckets, that's going to feel the best to you. Yeah. But the way to figure that out the fastest is to take it to the max that you could possibly think of and then dial it back. Right? And so, sorry, you.
No. I was just, I don't know, because I feel like there has to be a practical max. You know what I mean? Because for someone who, let's just say they're in school, right? They got 2 jobs, full classes, a busy schedule, right? Taking it to the extreme might be hard. Taking it to an ultimate extreme, meaning okay, let's just say they want to work 40 hours a week, right? On top of all the other schoolwork they want. That's not really realistic, right? So I think just keeping in mind,
agreed.
I think just obviously I agree with the trial and error aspect, right? I think, but you have to set a practical standard, right? So what if you want to work 30 hours a week, right? Maybe set it to 25 because those 5 hours will make a big difference,
So
I think Just dial back a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you have to have self-awareness going into
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
Because it's ironic and it's highly contradictory, because if you listen to anything I say, one of the biggest things I preach when it comes to building habits is start literally as tiny as possible, go to the gym for 30 seconds and then go home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a big contradiction there.
Yeah.
But
No, but that wasn't sarcastic. No, sorry.
you're like, yeah. Yeah. Oh, really? Interesting.
What?
What? That was a pretty good imitation. In order for you to figure out where your max is, where that balance, in order for you to figure out where a good balance is, it's easier. It's not easier. Again, it's faster to take it to the extreme. But when it comes to building a long-term habit, that's something different.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if you're not somebody, because you bring up a really good point. If you're not somebody who knows that you can immediately take something to the max and keep it there, which is most people, I think it's actually probably good to not take that advice in terms of the time aspect.
Yeah.
I think it is important to do that with baby steps.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe let's say hypothetically from 20 to 30, what's best for the majority of people would be to take baby steps all the way to the point where you know it's too far,
Yep.
and then to dial it back.
Yeah, because I think that's a good point. Because if someone wants to work, like their ideal goal is to work 30 hours a week, right? But they know it's too much right now, and they don't necessarily have the right habits in place in terms of like organization, time management, and the like, right? Working 30 hours a week is not going to work for them, because if they do start to work 30 hours a week, it's going to make everything else within their life harder, right? So I think starting with something like, so if you think you could work 20 hours a week, right? And you think that's a realistic standard that you could do right now, and that's kind of pushing it, right? A little bit, but you want to get to 30 hours. I think pushing it to that extreme, I think pushing it to that standard, right, is kind of your extreme within that moment, right? But as time goes on, you can start to, one, analyze whether even 20 hours a week is enough, or whatever type of standard you're trying to implement is enough, right? And then over time, if that's not your extreme, right, and you know you have more in the tank, you're like, oh, maybe I could do a few more hours this week, right? Then you slowly start to build up over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that would be the best way to do it.
I think it is. I think I misinterpreted the message, because to me, it's almost like he's saying, build the habits that you can to the max in this decade of time.
Yeah.
Right? So this is a big chunk of time. It's 10 fucking years.
Yep.
In that chunk of time, take yourself to the extremes at every single level. See how far you can take anything.
Yep.
How far you can take your career, your finances, your relationships.
Yeah.
Every skill you want to
Yeah.
go after. Like, see how far you can take it. See how much effort and energy you can put into each one.
Yeah.
And see what's sustainable.
Exactly.
For me, it's like, if you could do something for a year, you could probably do it for life. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's
Yeah.
a little bit short. But for me, it's like, after I've done something for a year, like with my TikTok page is a good example. I've posted 5 TikToks a day, every single day. Maybe one day a month I miss, or something happens or whatever, but it's less than 1% of the time where I'll miss a day. But doing 5 posts a day is sustainable for me.
Yeah, it feels like nothing, right?
Eventually got to the point where it just felt like a part of my practice.
exactly.
Of the
Natural.
in the same sense where, like, it's probably more tangible for people to understand, like the gym. When you first start going to the gym, it's like you think about it a lot. You're like, oh, I need to go to the gym today at this time, whatever. But then after a while, you're like, no, I wake up and I go to the gym. That's just like, it's what I do. It's not like, maybe should I go, or how much time do I have? It's like, no, I spend an hour at the gym every day. It's just a part of my practice.
Yeah.
But I think, again, it's take it to the extreme. How far can you push yourself, right? I think a good example might be the gym. It's like, how hard can you push yourself in the gym consistently over a year, hypothetically, to the point where, okay, now this is actually too much. I don't have enough energy.
Yeah.
So once you get to the point of I consistently have low energy, or maybe I'm consistently getting injured, or maybe I'm doing this too much or whatever, and like it's negatively affecting you, then pull back.
Yeah.
But I think you should take it to that max so that you're
Yeah.
always on the edge, because if you're not pushing yourself, it's not going to be nearly as fulfilling.
You got to be really careful too, because if you go too far to the extreme, and this is why I think it's so important to have like that practical extremism, right? Because like if I load up fucking 405 on squat, I'm gonna get fucking squashed, right? There's no doubt about it. But if I load up maybe 315, right, and maybe do that for reps as opposed to a 1 rep max, you can be like, oh wow, like I can do this, like I can do this for a significant amount of reps. Maybe don't go till failure, right? And like I think this is like the perfect analogy, right? So let's just say you can do 10 reps, but you only do 8, right?
Right.
You know, based on your performance of the 8 reps that you could have done more, right? And this happens all of the time in the gym, like whether it be deadlifting, squat, bench, like, or just doing accessory movements, right? You could have like gone harder. I can always go harder, right?
Right.
But you do it in a way that does not bring up consequences and effects that negatively harm your ability to do what you're doing within that moment.
But I feel like you can only understand that point,
Like fully understand
once you've been there. Right? When you fail a max, now you know what your max is.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because you don't necessarily know what your max is until you fail. You have an idea of it, but you don't actually know.
Exactly. And so then you take yourself to that max, go a little bit further. Okay, failure. However, whatever failure means for you, whether that means you're exhausted all day, so you need to take a step back in the amount of time you're spending at your job, or maybe it means you're spending too much time hanging out with friends, and so that's failure in that aspect, and so you need to spend more time at work, or something with your family is going down, or whatever.
Yeah.
Take it to the max, see how far you can take whatever it is that you're doing, and then pull back to the point where it's optimal for you. Still challenging, still have to push yourself, but optimal for you. The important asterisk there is that it's for you, because people are so different. What's going to make Jeff Bezos fulfilled? On paper, I don't know Jeff Bezos, but what's going to make him fulfilled is very different than what's going to make me or you fulfilled.
Yep.
You and I are not the type of person, from what I've gathered, that can work 16 hours every single day, flat out, on one thing. Building one business. Amazon. That's what it takes. If that makes him fulfilled, that makes him fulfilled. If that's you, great. The chances of that being you, this much. This much. So take it for what it's worth, but do whatever it means for you. That's why I don't think it's like cool for someone to be like, from 4 a.m. till 6 a.m, I did this, and then from this to this, I did this, and this to this, I did this. You're like, I just work, and that's what it takes if you want to be happy. It's like, no, that's what it takes for you to be happy, not for everybody else.
Yeah.
Some people need to spend 4 nights a week hanging out with friends and be on 3 softball teams and play video games every night to be their happiest and most fulfilled self. It's the truth. They'll sacrifice having one of the best, most successful life coaching businesses, which is my goal, for having more fun on the weekends, spending more time with family, not wanting to travel around the world because they want to be on 3 softball teams, whatever it is. And that's great. For me, that would not be fulfilling, but for them it is. You see me on paper being like, I want to be Jason. No, you don't. You want to be you. This is what's fulfilling for me. It's hard because it puts me on a pedestal from societal standards. He works his ass off. He's helping more people because he has a blue check mark and he's, makes a shit ton of money from his businesses and content and whatever. So it looks better on paper because that's what success means to society. Success is not working the most, making the most money. Success is being the most happy and fulfilled person there could ever be.
According to you.
To me?
Yeah, that's like, well, you said like 6. No, I agree. Yeah.
According to each their own.
Gotcha. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But yeah, man, I completely agree with you there. And it isn't a black and white thing, right? There like you said perfectly, what's fulfilling for you might not be fulfilling for someone. And I was really trying to think about this too, like the push yourself to an extreme idea. I was really trying to think about what is at the root of this. Like, sorry, I shouldn't say at the root of it getting to like this extreme idea, but really being able to develop a lifestyle and imagine you just deleted it. Just developing a lifestyle where you're able to juggle all these different areas, right? Able to do all the things you want, right? At a satisfying extent, right? And you feel like you're still pushing yourself, right? And you could always improve, but you don't feel like you're going too much, right? Like you're at that point, like Jordan Peterson pointed out. And I wanted to bring this up to you. Like, what do you think is at? I mean, this is kind of like a hard question if I can answer off the top of your head, but like, what do you think is at the root of that? Like, what do you like for someone to develop a lifestyle where they're able to juggle all these different types of things within their life, whether it be, and I'm not, once again, I'm not saying it's a black and white matter where everyone's waking up at 4 a.m. and working like Jeff Bezos for 16 hours, right? But like for someone to develop a lifestyle where they have all these different areas that they're, I guess, working in, so spirituality, you know, like health, nutrition, exercise, mental health, and the like. What do you think is at the root of that allows someone to develop that type of lifestyle where they're able to have that healthy balance in each area?
I think the root of
because I was just really trying to think about it.
For me,
I couldn't think of it.
The important thing to understand is whether or not you're consciously aware of it. Everybody in the world is juggling all these areas of life.
Yep.
Everybody's juggling them.
Yeah.
Whether you think you are or not, you are.
Yeah.
So it's family, relationships, spirituality, career, finances, like all these areas of life that are important. For the most part, it's subjective, whatever. But what makes somebody aware enough? What makes somebody... Okay, so here's the analogy that comes to my brain. Imagine there's 8 buckets of life that matter, right? Career, finances, spirituality, mental health, physical health, yada, yada, yada.
8 parts of well-being or whatever.
Right. All those buckets. And you have 100 gallons of water. And everybody has 100 gallons of water. And maybe the gallons of water is equal to your amount of energy. That's what it stands for as the metaphor in this situation. And so you pour all these 100 gallons out into each of these buckets, and you see what makes you feel the happiest. Yep. For me,
try it out.
I need a lot more in my career bucket, in my finances bucket, than probably the average Joe. I'm probably higher on the end of, that's what just makes me happy. I like more water in that bucket. Whatever, right? Maybe somebody likes more in their relationships. My relationship with my family and my kids, that's my core. Family over everything. Like those type of people, they need more water in that bucket.
Yeah.
But everybody's different.
Yeah.
Right? But what gets you to the point of you're the type of person of, regardless of how much water is in each individual bucket, you're super, super happy with those buckets. That's what's going to make you the happiest and most fulfilled. But what is the separator between the people that are happy with their buckets versus the people that are happy with their buckets or not happy with their buckets? The separator, in my eyes, is truth and discipline. Because you need the absolute truth so that you can actually be happy. Because if you're going to lie to yourself and say, like a miserable billionaire, keep filling up your finances and your career bucket, your family life sucks, your spirituality sucks, your physical health is deteriorating.
So I just want to break this down for people that are watching. So truth in terms of what like innately satisfies you.
Right. That's being real with you.
Gotcha.
Being
That's what you mean by truth, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Telling yourself the 100% truth.
Gotcha.
The 100% truth. Yep. As a side note of that, because I think this is actually very important. Yeah. Remind me to get back to where I was. We're talking about the truth and talking about discipline. Buckets. Okay. So as a side note of that, one of the most important things I cannot express enough to kids that are especially our age in college, choosing their majors, going into their senior year, about to graduate, stop lying to yourself and stop lying to other people about what you want to do. The biggest thing that I always find with people is that they're always lying to everybody else because they're scared that they don't actually know what it is that they want to do. You don't actually know what major you want or what career path you want to follow because you're fucking 20 years old. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's completely okay. But when you lie to people and say, oh, I'm going to be a computer science major and I have this safe and secure 9-to-5 job, all you're doing is fucking yourself. Because now, the more repetitions you have of lying to other people, the harder it is to be true to yourself. Because now, what you're claiming is true, your body doesn't understand, isn't reality. And so you keep fogging that line of where reality is. You keep fogging that line, which is lying about it, lying about it to him, lying about it to your mom, lying about it to everybody that shows up to the party and says, what's your major? When are you graduating? Like the scary, dreaded question. The more you fog that line, the harder it is to know where that line is. Never fog that line. That's why the truth is so important. Because, good example, for me, when I was a dental hygiene major, can't believe it was a fucking thing. I knew I was lying to everybody, but I caught it quickly. And once I caught it quickly, it was so much easier to get that fine line of this is the fucking truth. This is not real. This is real. This is the fucking truth. I know where it stands. So the second I would taste anything like, oh, let me try out being a PA, I kind of immersed myself in that area a little bit, hated it, never lied to anybody about it. I was like, oh, I want to pursue being a PA. I never told anybody that I'm going to be a PA because it's a safe, secure job, and this is what I'm going to do. I never said that. And it was easy for me to wiggle out of that because I never lied about it. So I knew where the truth lied. And I kept trying things out, and eventually I got into the position I'm in, which is completely abstract, but I only got there from telling myself the truth. So if you want to get into a position where you actually gain self-awareness, figure out what your purpose is, what your passion is, you need to stop lying to other people, because when you lie to other people, you fog the truth for yourself. You fuck yourself in that way. So always tell people the truth, because I know it's scary to be like, actually, I don't know what I'm going to do, and feel the judgment from people. But you got to choose, you got to pick your poison. Because you're either going to not know what the truth is for yourself and never actually live a happy and fulfilled life, or you'll have the temporary comfort, which isn't even real because you're lying, but the temporary comfort from strangers and people you don't even actually give a fuck about, saying, oh, that's cool, nice, you're on a good path. You'd be like, whew, got that off my shoulders. I'm such a good computer science major, right? Fuck that.
Yeah.
So stop lying to other people.
Yeah, and I think it's just oh god, what was that thought that popped? Oh fuck, dude, I literally just freaking lost it. But whatever. The two most powerful words in the universe are "I am," right, and whatever comes after that, you shall become.
Right.
Quote Ralph Smart. So it's so true, because if you're telling someone, oh yeah, this is what I want to say. If you're telling someone something that you know the truth, that you're not, right, and or something that you know you're not going to become, right, and as you pointed out beautifully there, that is like, you may consciously know you don't want to do that, right, but your body and your beliefs, your subconscious beliefs, your subconscious values, right, are going to gravitate towards that natural response, right? And so the more you do that, right, I think the more dirt you're throwing on those types of, and it's going to be harder and harder and harder for you to undo that type of habit. And I think in addition, in addition to what I was saying before, oh man, I fucking forgot it again, bro. Fuck. Oh damn. But yeah, just like whatever you comes after I am, right? Oh yes, I remember. Yes. Oh. Oh my god, what is going on?
Thoughts just going in.
I got it. So I got it. So like you said before, it's okay. Your opinion, or what you're going to do, can be of the opinion and conclusion that you don't know what you want to do, right? And that is the most truthful opinion at that point in time, right? And sure, you don't know what you want to do. I don't know what the fuck I want to do. I'm like, I think I want to do content creation. I know I want to do that more than something in like nonprofit type of area. We literally dedicated a whole episode to this. So go watch that episode. But you can be of the opinion of having no idea what the hell you want to do. You can not know what you want to do, and then as time goes on, and people will often, I find, be like, oh, okay, like that's fine. You know, you have plenty of time. You know, and rather than throwing more dirt on that type of, I guess you could say, belief or value that's not truthful, that is causing you to live inconsistently, causing you to not be able to, in a sense, oh yeah, dude, like in a sense, not live a balanced life. And that really is at the core of it, right? It really is that type of truth. Like, are you being truthful with yourself, right? And when you're not being truthful with yourself in that sense, right, you're pouring water into all these other buckets that don't need water in them, right? What needs water in them is the buckets that naturally satisfy you and naturally bring you happiness, right? And so out through through being able to stay truthful with yourself, right? And exploring areas of interest, exploring areas that you want to go into, that will allow you over time, whether you're maybe not making the most money, maybe you're not the most externally viewed happy, right, by other people, it will allow you over time to develop, in my opinion, habits and behaviors that will allow you to balance a more consistent life, right, and live more happy, and while still pushing yourself at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, think about it this way. If you stop lying to other people completely and just tell them straight up, I just don't really know what the hell I want to do. I don't really know what I'm good at. I don't know what my purpose and my passion is. I'm just trying to figure it out. How much easier is it going to be for you to just taste things and let them go freely?
Yeah.
It's going to be way easier. You're not going to lock yourself into a career path, lock yourself into a major, lock yourself into some stupid 9-to-5 job that you fucking hate and then resent your entire life if you were to just tell the fucking truth. Because it's way easier. There's no load on your back of, I have to stay consistent with who I'm telling other people I am, rather than just telling them how you actually fucking feel. It makes it way easier.
Yeah.
So back to what I was getting at. Truth and discipline. One is you need to tell yourself the truth. You have to be completely honest with yourself, because that's when you're going to have the self-awareness that allows you to understand when there's too much water or too little water in each bucket. But the second is having the discipline to actually follow through on the days where it doesn't feel like sufficient. It doesn't feel like you want to have this much water in the bucket. Because there's a certain level to where it's like the thirds rule. Doesn't matter what you're doing, even if it's the most passionate, amazing thing you've ever thought you've done, a third of the days are going to suck. They're just going to suck. You're not going to want to do it. You're just not going to be in the mode. You're wrong headspace, wrong day. It's going to feel like you shouldn't do it ever. A third of the other days are going to feel average. Yep. You'd be like, yeah, this is nice. Like, I'm glad I'm doing this, but it's not like, woo. But then the other third are woo days where it's fucking awesome. You're flying. It's amazing. Content creation is a perfect example. I love it. It's one of my passions. It's one of my purposes. But a third of the days, it sucks. 1 out of every 3 days, I'm on TikTok like, oh, God, I just don't want to do this. Like, that's just how it is. Or editing on YouTube. Or anything. A third of the days, it sucks. A third of the days, it's just meh. And a third of the days, it's fucking amazing. So you have to get that into your head. But it requires those discipline on those average and below average days. It's going to require discipline on those average days and on those below.
Okay, let's take a second.
It's going to take discipline on those average days and those on those below average days to make sure that you're actually spending enough time to figure out, because time is a necessary part of the equation. You're spending enough time to figure out, okay, is this actually a good water level in this bucket?
Yep.
You need discipline to get there.
Yeah, for sure. And it takes time. It takes the will to explore different areas, right? In order to gain that awareness and to fill up your cup. That's already whole and complete.
This next coming clip is from Jordan Peterson on the Joe Rogan Experience, episode 1080 again. And he's talking about successful people, he's talking about how his successful friends basically view mentorship and lending a hand out to people who are young bulls looking to get in the game, essentially.
Most of the people I know that have been hyper successful are absolutely thrilled if they can find a young person, and they don't care, generally speaking, about sex or creed or color or any of that crap. They care about competence. They want to find a competent young person who's got a lot of possibility, and then open up all sorts of doors of opportunity for them and to see how they can help them develop.
The way that clip resonated with me was that the past month or so, I've been making content for Dave Meltzer. We're doing the laugh thing again. Whatever. I've been making content for Dave Meltzer for the past month or so.
Yep.
And it completely solidifies the idea. Because when I originally got into the game, I assumed talking to someone like Ed Mylett, someone like Dave Meltzer, someone like Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, talking to any of these big names would be something so far out there. I would have to do the most, try and like give as much value as I possibly can, and just be exceptional and like just fucking kiss people's asses to get myself up the ladder. But the reality is, and you just heard it from Jordan Peterson, people who are successful and happy just want to help other people get successful and happy. So if the moral of the story for me was, just ask. What's the worst that's going to happen? They say no. They don't give you what you wanted. It didn't happen the way you expected it to go. Okay, just ask. Like, I can't wait to clip this up because within a couple of years, this is literally going to be the thing I'm preaching to every single living human being. Because I know that, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to reach out to Gary Vee. If Gary Vee says no, I'm going to reach out to 100 other people until somebody says yes, and until I can get into a position of more success, attracting more people, getting on other podcasts, like branching myself out and marketing myself as who I am to help as many people as I can. It's going to work because it has to work. If you ask people, they will help you. I went up to Dave Meltzer at the end of my short conversation with him, and I said, who can you introduce me to that's going to help me further my success? And he introduced me to 3 people on the spot. And I know for a fact, I'm damn pretty certain that if I asked him again, he would introduce me to almost anybody. Get me in contact with them. It's really that simple. And if you really want somebody to do that for you, just add as much value to them as you can. For me, I've been making content for Dave for free, asking for nothing in return, not a tag, not a mention, nothing. Nothing. Just literally adding value. I'm taking like 2 to 3 hours out of my day every day to do that shit. Just to add value. Because I know that it's going to come back, A, that I'm helping as many people as I possibly can, so that's fulfilling in and of itself. But not for nothing, selfishly, he's going to want to do the most for me because I'm doing the most for him times 20. I'm giving him 100% value, asking for 20% in return, which is his philosophy that he talks about. You just ask people. They want to help. It's that simple. Don't be afraid to ask. People want to help. And if they don't, they'll say no. Or they'll make an excuse. You'll know the answer is no. Just ask.
And I was talking to Kuba, gave a great example of this. And so one of the first ways Kuba first got into videography was cold calling, right? And so he would, just reach out to a whole bunch of real estate agents or he would look them up, right? Whoever didn't have a video, in terms of like the house that they had or whatever, he would literally just send them an email and be like, okay, I just did a video with a professional client. Here's my services. I'll do the first video for free. And he just asked a bunch of people, right? He just like reached out to probably like a ton of real estate agents. And then in that sense, he received a whole bunch of responses back, right? And so in response to that, I literally brought up the David Meltzer example. And it was like, I always get this wrong in my head, so maybe you can correct me on it. But he says, those who give receive more, right? And David Meltzer's like, that's bullshit, right? Those who ask actually receive more, right? And it's so true because I said to Kuba, I was like, at the root of that is just you asking, is just you being willing to put yourself out there, right?
It's really that simple.
No, it really is, because if you're just sitting there with your legs crossed, sure, maybe you have the habits like I do of like content creation or whatever, and like right? But you're pondering the next steps that you want to take, right? But if you're not willing to take those risks, right, you won't get the necessary information that you'll need to know in order to be successful at that next step, right? Maybe you'll learn it on your own over time through trial and error, but most likely, if you want to do it in a way that's the most effective, right, and not as, I guess, won't set you as far back and you won't have to do as much trial and error, is asking people that know, asking for opportunities, right? And then it could be really in any area, right? You'll receive all this information, you'll receive more opportunities, and I'm guilty of this myself, right? Like I know you, it's something you've struggled with, but you've gotten a lot better at it. But it's just as simple as putting yourself out there, right? And like you said, people are willing to help. Maybe not everyone, but people are willing to help.
They're so willing to help. And here's the thing. We can fucking say it as many times as we want in as pretty as ways as we want it and fluff it up and put it with a nice font, and people still aren't going to fucking do it because they're scared.
Yeah.
They're scared. It's really that simple. I do the same shit. Here's something tangible. You want something tangible? Like what viewers can actually think, okay, do this at this time, and then this and this and this will happen. The next time you're feeling super inspired, like they're right. I need to reach out to somebody, right? The next time you're sitting there in bed at 2 a.m. feeling inspired as fuck, you're in that motivated state of mind, send a friend that you know is going to hold your ass accountable $100 on Venmo. Send them $100, send them a text saying, hey, you don't send me this money back, unless tomorrow I reach out to 10 people in my area asking them if I can interview them, asking them if I can spend a day in their shoes shadowing them. XYZ, whatever it is for you. You'll do it tomorrow because you're not going to want to lose $100. And then you'll have maybe 2 or 3 people that say yes, maybe even one person that says yes. And then you'll have an opportunity. That's all it's going to take. That's all it's going to fucking take. And that's tangible as fuck. Because you're going to wake up tomorrow feeling scared and unmotivated, but you've burned the boats. So then when you're in that situation, you'll do it, and it will be the most eye-opening thing you've ever done in your entire fucking life. I promise you.
And you're one half of that opportunity, right? You're one half of that part to get you that chance that will allow you to receive those type of, whether it be information, opportunity, benefits, right? Whatever you're trying to get, right? Because you have to, like what we said before, like you have to have the willingness to create that opportunity yourself, right? And let me make this clear: you're not the one that creates that opportunity completely, right? But you, just as much as they say yes, right? You have to be the one that starts that fire, right? And they're the one that keeps it going, right? And so whether they say yes, whether they say no, at the end of the day, if you're if you're knocking on enough doors, right? That door is not going to get opened unless it's knocked on, right? And the more you knock on doors, right? That second half, whoever's on the other side, where you want to be, right? They'll open that door and they'll bring you in.
The vibe that I get from people is that, and this is just what I've gotten from other people, is that they think I'm going to be some super successful person. I think I'm going to be super successful as well.
You're transforming.
But I'm in the phase of like, I'm not really well known now, but I will be pretty famous later.
Yep.
Like that's the vibe that I catch from people. And if you're one of those people, listen to me now. What I'm doing with my time is I'm going to be reaching out to one person at a time, or I'm going to be reaching out to one person at a time, asking them to do the same thing. I'm going to reach out to a bunch of people that are in the area, people like Gary Vee, people like Ed Mylett, people like Jordan Peterson. I'm going to make content for them for free in exchange for contacts and wisdom. It's that simple. And that formula is going to bring me to places where everyone's going to say, how the fuck did he do it? I'm telling you right fucking now, this is what's going to work. Reaching out to people, adding value for free in return for, and asking in return for wisdom and contacts, which they will want to give because they want to lend out that hand, just like Jordan Peterson was saying. He's one of those people, and he knows a ton of those people, and they all have the same consensus. And if you spend any time listening to the podcast, listening to seminars, and reading about it, they all want to give out a helping hand. People who are happy and fulfilled want to help other people become successful, happy, and fulfilled too. Ask.
In addition to that, right, you need to have an open mind, right? You need to be willing to learn. And in addition, you have to be willing to show that you'll provide them with something, right? Because that's exactly what you're doing right now, right? Anybody could ask David Meltzer a question, right? Anybody, right? And it's perfectly fine, right?
Right.
But how do you get yourself to that next point, right? That's where I think you're at right now, right? Because you're above that point of just asking questions. You're above that point of just a normal bystander. You actually have built a relationship with them.
That's a very, 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 very big point. Because I have something to show for it, which is, hey, you want to see how fucking consistent I am? First of all, you could take a look at this physique. Take a look at my body. Yeah. Take a look at my energy when you speak to me. Ask me questions about life. Ask me questions like, you can tell that I'm happy, fulfilled, and I'm in consistent pursuit of my full potential. Yeah. You can tell from talking to me. You can look at my TikTok page and see every day this motherfucker, 5 posts every day. Who is willing to do that? Nobody. I don't know anybody that's willing to do it besides you and 2 other people that I personally know. Nobody's willing to fucking do it. Yeah. So I stand out already. That's very, very, very important to know. Because someone like Dave Meltzer, someone like Jordan Peterson, someone like Gary Vee are going to be much more willing to help somebody that stands out because they believe that there's more potential in there, because there is more, because that type of person is actualizing it. It's not just sitting there as potential with collecting dust on the table. Yeah. It's a very, very important point. You need to You don't need to do anything.
What sets you aside, right? Like
Right.
what makes you stand out, as you said.
As
Perfectly.
the most tangible way to think about it is do whatever it is that's creative or just in your field. Be fucking consistent as fuck.
Yeah.
Be
Over deliver too.
That's another point. That's like super helpful. Be consistent as fuck.
Mind if I mention something real quick?
Absolutely.
So, and this just goes back to the door analogy, right? Because I was just thinking about you as an individual knocking on that door, right?
Right.
But you got to realize there's going to be a fuck ton of people knocking on that door, right? And they're not going to let everyone in, right?
Imagine you're the one that shows up with a bouquet of flowers and candy.
Bingo. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, that's a very important point because like what I'm doing for David, I'm like, dude, like, I'm not gonna say the videos or whatever, but like, I'm really helping out his content. It's the truth. Like, I'm adding so much value, and it's giving him results, and I'm asking for literally nothing in return. And eventually, I'm gonna ask for a conversation, but that's not in return. I'm just adding value. Hey, we have a relationship. I'm consistent as fuck. I'm helping you a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe you can introduce me to Gary Vee.
It's not too much.
It's nothing. And not for nothing, he's going to feel better introducing me to Gary Vee because he's helping me do more,
he knows
which
you
is
too.
him helping more.
Yeah.
Like-
It's not just like some Joe Schmo on the street being like, hey,
Right.
can I get Gary Vee's
Right.
contact?
You got to get out of this transactional mindset of like, oh, since I'm making content for Dave, fuck you. Since I'm making content for Dave, now there's a negative to my life.
Yeah.
No. Even if Dave never speaks to me ever, this is all going to be worth it because and I'm asking for nothing in return.
Oh.
The fact that I'm consistent and the fact
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
the fact that I'm consistent and the fact that I'm just adding value to add value is the reason why I'm going to be successful.
Yep.
My plan is not genius. I didn't even come up with it. You want a formula for fucking success in any creative area of life? Ask enough people until someone says yes and get friends of theirs.
Yep.
That's it.
You're okay. You're like, oh yeah, dude, I'm good.
To make a long story short, people who are successful and happy want to help other people become successful and happy. All you have to do is ask those people, and they're going to be more than willing to give you a helping hand, and it's going to be way easier for them to want to do that when you over-deliver and are consistent as fuck in your field, in your area. Show them you're an expert. Show them you're willing to work your fucking tail off in 2 hours a day, 3, 4, 5 hours a day, every single day, and people will open as many doors for you as they possibly can.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode number 61 of the Conscious Cast. I'm your host, Cal, along with my other boy, Mr. Jason Scalora.
Yes, sir.
Where can they find you, my man?
Right here.
Right here. Exactly. You know what's up.
You know what's up. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, OnlyFans.
Oh, coming soon.
I'm actually very interested to see how you edit this because you guys don't understand the amount of time we spend here bullshitting, laughing.
We'll be good. We'll be good.
The episode's going to come out fire because it's Conscious Cal, but I'm very interested to see how... it's funny, like, I just want them to know, just like, for them to like reflect on the video that they just watched. They're like, oh, damn, like, that's weird. Oh, I could see where you cut it there. So like I wonder how long
you'll
they were
know.
laughing.
You'll know when you see it. All right. So, but hit that one more time. Yeah, guys, make sure you guys love yourself because I love you. Stay handsome, and we are clocking out people.
No, do it again. I get to stay handsome.
Fine, dude. Fine. All right, guys, that has been episode number 61 of the Conscious Cast. I'm your host, Cal, along with my other boy, Mr. Jason Squirrel. Start it again. Bitch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode number 61 of the Conscious Cast. I'm your host, Cal, along with my other boy, Mr. Jason Scalora. Love yourself because I love you.
Stay handsome.
We're clocking out, people. Peace.